Good morning, fellow viewers and agents, to what I like to dub the mission of Weird Mind Newsroom, Episode 8. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to listen to me rabble about the new releases of this week, the trailers that came out this week, and also some of the news that has made up the media news of this week. So, without further ado, let's get right into the briefing.
I can fly. Okay.
So let's starting with the new releases of this week. Our first big one is coming to us from a long-awaited film that was supposed to come out, I think, at least in the last 2 or 3 years, but got delayed by the pandemic and all other sorts of things. And this is, of course, the 7th film in the Mission Impossible franchise, with Dead Reckoning Part 1. This new movie will see the return of Ethan Hunt and his team as they are back to stop a dangerous new threat in the form of an AI simply entitled The Entity, and they must find the important items that will help stop it from taking over the world or from it falling into the wrong hands of evildoers that will use it for no good. Now, as with most of the previous Mission Impossible movies, the reception for this movie has been overwhelmingly positive, so much so to the point where it's now the second best reviewed Mission Impossible film, just behind by 1% to the previous movie Mission Impossible Fallout. Now, I for one have enjoyed the Mission Impossible movies and have been trying to sort of rewatch the few of them before I get the chance to check this out, probably the next few days, but you know, it does look pretty good and I will definitely be checking it out. If some action-based adventure wasn't your thing and you're looking for a bit more of a horror vibe in some capacity, then check on over to Netflix, as they have released a sequel to a film I didn't expect was going to get a sequel, but we have gotten a sequel to the 2018 Netflix original film of Bird Box with Bird Box Barcelona. This new one follows a father and his daughter trying to survive across a dangerous large city setting of Barcelona from strange unknown creatures that will make the person unalive themselves if they look directly at the creature. Now, I thought the original was okay, so to say, and the new one seems to be getting some mixed reception, but I'm sure it's probably something that's harmless, and if you want to check it out, you can check it out now on Netflix. Now, besides the next episode of Secret Invasion, of course, we have one more new release this week, and this is also coming to us from Netflix, and it's an animated piece as well. This new one, of course, is the second season to the animated series of Sonic Prime. Now, the basis of this plot of the Sonic Prime series is that he has been battling with Dr. Eggman and caused the shattering of a strange thing known as the Paradox Crystal that has some sort of mind-bending powers and soon creates the Shatterverse, a series of alternate universes created by the Prism Shards, and it's up to Sonic to travel across the vast reality with the assistance of Shadow, from the looks of things in the trailer, in order to restore his world and all others from total destruction and the control of the Council of Eggmen. Now, the first season dropped back just in time for Christmas there a couple months ago, and I've heard some good things about both of these seasons, so I will for sure checking this out, and you can check the full season out available now on Netflix. And with that, of course, that is the end of the new releases for this week.
Lollipops.
Now, we do have a lot of trailers this week, so we're just going to get straight into it with our first trailer of the week, coming to us from acclaimed director Ridley Scott, with his new historical war drama of Napoleon, which is going to be played by Oscar winner Joaquin Phoenix as the French general that has led his army to victory in the war-torn 16th century France. Now he came from nothing to the control of everything. Now, this is the newest war film following his overlooked previous war film, a one that I've been in, no humble brag, of just a small extra, in The Last Duel. And honestly, this does look pretty good, and usually Ridley Scott movies do look pretty good. So if you want to check this one out, and most likely be in the award circuit, you can definitely worth a watch when it releases in November of this year, mainly at the end of November. So that's something to check out. Our next trailer is giving us a bit of a whimsy and wondrous look into a new film based on a character from the Roald Dahl books, as we look at the origin story to the chocolatier himself, Willy Wonka, and this one being played by Timothée Chalamet. And we'll tell the origin story of how this chocolatier became the most famous candy maker in the world, as he goes up against the chocolatier mafia in the industry, all in the form of a song and dance, so supposedly this is also a musical. Now, this has a sense of whimsy and wonder to the whole film, even if it has a weird uncanny valley version of Hugh Grant's Oompa Loompa. Like, what's going on there? And knowing this has been directed by the very charming Paddington films by that director, of course, because I love those movies, and I won't lie, I did tear up a bit in the second movie, and I'm sure this will be something I will definitely be checking out on December 15th of this year. Now on to the last of the TV show video game adaptations of this year. We have a new look at the upcoming series based on the popular Twisted Metal franchise, and we'll see Anthony Mackie's character, known in the role as the Milkman, a delivery service man who basically goes across this post-apocalyptic world after the world went to complete shit 20 years earlier and caused all these big cities to wall themselves off. And he goes on this journey, which ends up coming across of some strange characters that want him dead and end up in bloodbaths of like carnage and ultimate destruction, including meeting this particular crazy-ass clown named Sweet Tooth and his souped-up ice cream truck in Vegas. Now, initially, I was skeptical about this series because the first teaser showed nothing, and the clip they showed at Summer Games Fest was a bit but after seeing a full trailer and getting a more better idea of the concept of the story, I'm kind of on board, and it does look pretty interesting, and I will definitely be checking this out when it releases at the end of this month on July 27th. Now, I don't need to say much on this next clip, and also because I want to talk more about it next week when it releases on July 21st, but early this week we got a quick brief look at one of the new songs for the Barbie movie, and this one is the song that's sung by Ryan Gosling himself, entitled I'm Just Ken. And I was expecting more of an upbeat pop song, but it turned into more a case of a 90s boy band song. Similar in vein to what I would say Lost in the Woods from Frozen 2. And I don't need to explain myself. It's like Ryan Gosling there, like showing off his pecs, singing about how, he's just Ken. He's literally all the blokes of the guy in the world right now when this movie comes out. Sure, I will talk more about this next week, but I know for certain that probably maybe this movie will be tied with Peaches from the Super Mario Bros. Movie as probably the best movie songs of the year. Now to some superhero movie news, as we got our second official trailer for the upcoming film of Blue Beetle, that will see Jamie Reyes' character suddenly come into possession of an ancient relic known as the Scarab that gives him special powers, and soon will become a superhero host for the certain relic of the Blue Beetle, and he must use it to fight against the powerful enemies, protect his family, and save the world from them taking it over. Now, I don't know much about this character, but the suit looks pretty cool. It looks alright, and it has a vibe of Iron Man mixed with Homecoming and a bit of Deadpool, but I'm sure I definitely will check this out when it releases in a month's time on August 18th. Now, from superheroes to a galaxy far, far away, with an all-new trailer look at the next Star Wars series, particularly Star Wars Ahsoka. And we'll see her travel across the galaxy to try and stop Admiral Thrawn and stop the rising threat after the fall of the Empire. Now, this is supposedly what I'm seeing from the trailer, so this is a Rebels sequel, as well as a sequel to the Clone Wars series, which I need to both get a bit of rewatch on, as it has a lot of the characters from that series, including Thrawn, Sabine, Ezra, and many others in the series as well. And it looks very stylized and action-packed, and it has the late Ray Stevenson in it as one of his last roles. And I'm sure I'll definitely be checking this out when it releases its 2-episode premiere, yes, 2, releasing it on premiering on August 23rd. Now this next one, there's not much to talk about in this one as well, as it is a very brief teaser. But Toho has announced an all-new Godzilla movie entitled Godzilla Minus One that will see the famous giant lizard cause destruction and fear in a post-war Japan. And while it is a very brief teaser, there's some exciting content from these forms of Godzilla films, and will be releasing just in time before the next Godzilla movie from Hollywood, and releasing just in time for Christmas on December 1st. And just to round out the trailers for this week, our final trailer is coming to us for the second volume of Season 3 for The Witcher. We'll see Henry Cavill playing the character for the final time in the last 2 episodes of the season, and before he gets changed into Liam Hemsworth taking on the role of Geralt. Now I need to actually catch up on the first half of the season, with the last 2 episodes releasing it in 2 weeks time as well, at the end of the month on July 27th. And of course with that is the end of the trailers for this week.
This is like playing bingo at Jack Nicholson's house.
Let's get right to the news stories of this week, and our first one is coming to us once again from the MCU, in particular with the Merc with the Mouth himself, Deadpool. Now last week I was going to start off with a news story, in particular focusing on the first look images of Deadpool in costume for the set of the third movie. But then that got derailed with Jennifer Garner's announcement that she's also going to be in the movie as Elektra again. Well, now we have a proper more first look image at this new movie, and it's one that has technically broken the internet. And that of course is coming to us with this image, as Ryan Reynolds on Monday night shared an image on his social media of him and Hugh Jackman in full costume as Deadpool and Wolverine. Now in particular, the big focus is on Wolverine's perspective, as we have seen him in full-on iconic character outfit from the comic book series and the animated series from the 90s. And the image is very cool and amazing, and it's making me speculate about what the scene in particular they are shooting right now is. Like a sort of a deserty area, kind of a bit of a barren wasteland kind of thing, but who knows in particular. I'm sure we'll probably get more when we start seeing some trailers for it, and when it releases supposedly in May of next year. But what do you think of this image and the outfits of the characters and the likes of what the setting of the image may be telling us? And also, what are your opinions are about the costumes in particular for the MCU, like being very comic accurate the last two phases? Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. Now for some video game news that's also relating to Marvel. As we announced from a long rumor for the last couple of weeks, that we are getting a brand new game based on the character of the Black Panther, coming to us from EA, as well as Cliffhanger Games, with some creators of that group creating the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor game. Now it remains to be seen what exactly will be the focus of this game in particular. Will it be a tie-in game to an upcoming movie? Will it be a brawler? Or is it going to be the case of an open world game where we can explore the entirety of Wakanda as T'Challa or whatever character is playing the Black Panther? I'm sure we'll probably get more discussion about what the game will be about and how we'll play over time, and once we get some updates and some footage, I will share what you hear in the weekly news roundup. But what are your opinions on this? Are you excited to be playing a Black Panther game for the first time? Well, technically after the Black Panther and Captain America game that's coming out this year, or whenever it is. Or are you a bit skeptical because it's coming from EA, given usually a lot of time with their microtransactions and stuff? But, you know, good change. Do let me know what you think down below, and let's have a discussion about what some of the opinions and speculation of what this game could be about. Now, we've had a big week of Hollywood news, and one of the big ones is that on Wednesday, we got the nominations for this year's Emmy Awards. And to say that there has been a lot of big shows this year is saying something. But I'm not going to delve too much into all the nominations because I'll be here all week. So I'm going to delve on to talk about at least 4 and some highlights of the big nomination winners this year. So first off, our most nominated show for this year is Succession's final season with 27 nominations. Our second biggest nomination is The Last of Us with 24. The White Lotus comes in the third with 23. And running up the top 4 is Ted Lasso's final season, supposedly, at 21 nominations. It's also some big names, including the Star Wars content of Season 1 of Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Season 3 of The Mandalorian, all collectively got 20 nominations for all 3 of those series. As well as some first-time nominations, including for Jenna Ortega, Bella Ramsey, and I believe the young actor that played Sam in The Last of Us, all got their first nominations. And of course, Pedro Pascal has had 3 shows that he's been nominated this year, including one for Best Actor for The Last of Us. And I'm sure there are many more big names that I can't really count right now. I will delve more into this in a separate video closer to the time where I will go through my predictions and nomination wins for the Emmys in particular, similar to what I did with my blog piece on the Oscars I did earlier this year, which you can check out down below in the description. But what do you think of the nominations if you've seen them all, and what are some of your own predictions of the winners? Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. Now there's some more casting announcements in the world of superheroes, as we head over to the DCU and we talk more on James Gunn's upcoming Superman movie. Now about a week or 2 ago, we talked about the announcement casting of David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan as Superman and Lois respectively. But now we have some more new super friends joining the Man of Steel's adventure, with 4 new heroes joining the casting, with all of them confirmed. Our first off is Isabella Merced, who will be playing Hawkgirl. Now, Miss Merced, the only one I think you probably remember, she played a particular live-action version of a children's explorer, who also had a film that had Danny Trejo voicing a talking monkey. If you know who I'm talking about, well done you. And now, this isn't the first time we've seen a Hawk character in the DCU, as we saw Hawkman appear in a live-action form in last year's Black Adam. Next up on the list is Edi Gafatri, who previously played a superhero in X-Men First Class, will be taking on the role of the character of Mr. Terrific, a tech genius and labeled one of the world's 3rd smartest man after Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne in this universe. Our third casting is Nathan Fillion, who has already played 2 different roles. He's appeared in 2 of Gunn's recent movies in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and as TDK or the Detachable Kid in 2021's Suicide Squad. He'll be playing the role of a Green Lantern, specifically Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, and he will have the bowl cut. And the last time we saw a Lantern was briefly in the Justice League movies and of course Ryan Reynolds' version of Hal Jordan in the 2011 movie. And our final casting is Anthony Carrigan, who had previously played a role in the DC universe as Victor Zsasz in the Gotham television series. He'll be taking on the role of Metamorpho, the Element Man who was cursed by an Egyptian relic and has the ability to change into any element of combination of elements. And also, might I add, also has a very groovy theme song made back for him in the 1960s. Now I'm interested in seeing more obscure characters being brought into live action DCU, and similar to like how the MCU did it kind of case. But what do you think of these casting announcements? Are you excited for them? Do let me know what you think down below. Let's have a discussion about them. And now for our last bit of gaming news this week, we are actually going back in time to the days of the original PlayStation era, as just this week we've gotten the announcement of free collectible collections bundles about to make a return to the new system of consoles, with the complete trilogy of Gex, the original Clock Tower, and the original Tomba games all getting a new release with some new content and visual updates for modern consoles of the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One presumably, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and of course the first time on PC. Now I've played or experienced a few of these titles, and get to play them now or on newer hardware, and in the case of both the Switch and the PC with Steam Deck on the go, and hopefully we'll see more interest of these becoming successful and maybe we see a new entry in all the series for all. Now, we haven't got a release date for any of them yet, but one confirmed area is we could see one this year, but we're looking likely that we're seeing Clock Tower releasing in early 2024. As for the other two, we will probably get more information about it in the coming weeks. But what do you think of these announcements? Are you excited to see them coming back against the consoles? And have you played any of them before? Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. And I believe that is all the stories that we have for this week, but what? Serious? Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news. And in the case of this, we're going to go to an alternate dimension version of me in a different location to talk about what the news is in particular. Over to you, Guy.
Krusty Krab is unfair! Mr. Krabs is in there!
Yes, thank you, host. Yes, we do have some breaking news. Now, we've known for the last 2.5 months now, the Writers Guild has been on strike due to poor payment options on the amount of work they do, and for the extra aspects of now streaming and other media methods, now have been protesting for a better deal and better payment options. Well, another group has joined in on the picket strike line. As of Thursday night at midnight, the SAG-AFTRA, or the Actors Guild, have also come to the announcement they are joining in the strike as well for their own reasons similar to the writers, and their unfair treatment by all the major heads of the studios for unfair payment, and for all their stupid ideas want to implement AI into writing and acting. And showing how out of touch they are with knowing the likes of AI is not going to be going anywhere in particular, because it's far from being perfect at all, and it's going to be a very long time before that actually is the case. And it's seen the likes of many other projects that were still being developed or filmed have now ceased production, including Deadpool 3, House of the Dragon, and all these other ones were basically put on hold because of the situation. Now personally, I'm totally fine with the likes of them going on strike, as it's been working their asses off and yet they don't see much out of it when they make it compared to the demand of the heads of the companies for all of them to make as much money as possible so they can line their pockets and making millions of dollars every year for doing fucking nothing. And personally, all these people are doing a lot more work and basically keeping their names on the map, and yet they can't even give an option to pay the money. And some executive made some really dumb, stupid comment about saying that they're not going to do much in the deal of it until around October, when they suddenly realize they're going to lose their house and apartments. So I say to them, go fuck yourselves, CEOs, and actually pay your fucking writers and your actors. But yeah, that's basically all that's happened, and I wouldn't be surprised that the likes of visual effects artists, film crews, producers, and directors also get involved in this strike as well, because honestly, it needs to happen. But that's basically all we have right now. Now, this could affect all more news on this section, but we'll probably talk that more with the alternate dimension version of me, so I'm going to go back to you in the studio.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Thank you, alternate version of me, for bringing us that news. But what do you think of all this now? And do you think it's time for the companies to actually listen for once and pay their writers and actors better? Because, I mean, it's a complete shambles, I tell you that. Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. And with that now, I believe that is the end of the news for this week.
Shredder Squeer XD.
And with that, of course, that brings us to the end of Weird Mind Newsroom, of this episode in particular, and I hope you enjoyed my ramblings for all that went on this week. Now, the question whether these strikes will affect my weekly pieces, we'll have to see what happens, but if it sees a drop in the amount of content, then I will either make a statement here and on my socials about it. There might be a little bit of a hiatus, but depending on the amount of content that either gets delayed or there's nothing out in the weeks. If there's nothing out in the weeks, I will skip that week and will basically make an announcement about it, but I will let you know if that happens. Currently, right now, I am sorting out a video essay piece that I'm currently working on that you might hopefully see in the next couple of days. It is probably looking a bit lengthy, but I'll have to see how it turns out. I'm also going to try and get some reviews written for this and hopefully even sort out some other bits. I know how to make a special video for a special someone for a big day for them, and I know in a case that I have to make sure that I have everything sorted for a certain Starlight special day too. So I think for both of them, all are both collected for Starlight. So if you're seeing this, my dear. But anyway, that's all I have time for this week. So if you enjoyed my videos as always, leave a like down below. Comment below what you think of all the discussion points of this week. And if you know anyone that hasn't seen my stuff yet, why not share it around and even subscribe if you haven't to. I will appreciate all the sentiment and value that you do. Now, if you stay being wonderful people, and I will wish you all a very good day. So take it easy everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.